What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C4 here today, continuing to milk the Carson Wentz wagon on Beast Mode TV, following up on my latest video where I talked about all the quarterbacks I would take over Carson Wentz in the league. I mean, go grab yourself a Philly pretzel and look in the comment section below. There's more than enough salt to get your fixin' on your pretzels. Oh my god, man, I love doing shit like that, just ruffling the feathers of idiots. It might be one of the best things you could do here on YouTube. Obviously, I'm taking the extreme approach of viewing Carson Wentz. Today, I'm going to be going through the rest of the Eagles' schedule, predicting their wins and losses, as well as the final stat line for Carson Wentz, where you guys will really, see how I truly feel about Carson Wentz. We're going to pull back the facade curtain of, I'm maintaining that Wentz is going to take us to the Super Bowl. And we'll get down and dirty and see, where he really is on my, taking my Eagle fan cap off and putting on my football fan. We'll see where Carson Wentz is at. So this week, they got the Detroit Lions. We can't really predict injuries or who's banged up or anything like that really after this week. But this is a win against the Lions. The defense is banged up. Levy's hurt, best linebacker on their team. Ansa's hurt, maybe the best player on the team. So I think this is going to be actually a pretty easy win when all is said and done against Detroit away. You never really get an easy road win, but I think this will be very similar to the game we had against the Chicago Bears. Then we play the Washington Redskins, and I'm saying that's a win. I mean, before the season started, I said the Redskins were going to win the goddamn division, but they are in a complete mess. Kirk Cousins can get shook. He doesn't even play good at home. He's still, I still think that's going to be a win. That's going to be, the Washington Redskins trying to gain momentum while Philly's going with the whole fucking steamroller of momentum. So that we're getting actually the Redskins at a perfect time, and I think Philly's going to win that game, and we'll be 5-0. Then Minnesota Vikings come to town. And I'm going to tell you right now, in my absolute honest opinion, based off of how we played in 3 games, not the best of teams in the first 2, but fuck everyone that's trying to discredit the victory over Pittsburgh. I mean, you ask any non-Eagle fan, they're like, all right, the 3 worst teams in the league, Cleveland Browns, 32, Bears, 31, and obviously Steelers, 30. Everyone wants to try to discredit what we did against the Steelers, but I honestly think we're not going to go 16-0, but there's not one game that I can say convincingly we're going to lose. So when I was coming up with this, I put games that we are more likely to lose than to win. I guess it's kind of a cop-out to explain it. So that's why we're starting with the Minnesota Vikings, and we'll go with a loss in that one. I mean, Sam Bradford is used to being booed at the Lincoln Financial Field, so I mean, he's already, he's already prepared for that environment. Just because how Minnesota's defense has been playing, and their offense has been all right. I think their offense will struggle, and I think all these losses that I will mention are going to be low-scoring games. Eagles are not going to get blown out at all this year with our defense playing at high level as it is right now. But, I mean, like I said, I think they can beat the Minnesota Vikings just on that fact that this is going to be a game of 2 great defenses. So whose offense is better? I think the Vikings defense might slightly edge the Eagles defense in terms of talent. But when you look at the offensive side of the ball, I mean, the Vikings have Sam Bradford, who I think you can, even non-Eagle fans, you could say Carson Wentz is probably, as good as Bradford. He's certainly not worse than Bradford, I would say. But they don't have AP. They have Stephon Diggs on the outside. I think tight ends is kind of a, slight edge to the Eagles. I think Ertz is a little bit better than Kyle Rudolph. So, I mean, outside of Stephon Diggs, the Eagles pound for pound are very similar. Like, that is not a one-sided game at all. But just because Vikings are on form, and I have to throw up a couple losses for the Eagles, we'll say a loss against Minnesota. Then at Dallas, I think this is going to be a win. Tony Romo or not, the Eagles are going to win this game. I think the Dallas Cowboys are a little bit overrated. If you can stop Ezekiel Elliott, I think you're going to have great success at stopping the Dallas Cowboys. And I think Philly can be, not only can I think Philly could stop Dallas's running game on the best of days, I think, they're banged up, man. Tyron Smith has struggled to play. La'el Collins is out. If that Dallas Cowboys line is not fully healthy, I think Philly stop Ezekiel Elliott and they win that game. Then they play New York Giants. That's a win. It's the Giants. Then they play the Atlanta Falcons. I think that's a win as well. What can the Falcons do when they can't put up 30-plus points? They're not going to be able to manhandle the Eagles' defense like they did against the Saints, like they did against the Panthers. That's going to be a low-scoring game. And when push comes to shove, can Atlanta win the low-scoring games? I don't think so. That could very well be a loss. Atlanta is a high-powered offense, especially if they can get that two-handed attack of Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman going. And then you got Julio Jones on the outside. And we know what happened last time Julio Jones played against our defense under Billy Davis. I think it's a different story. That's what I think is going to be key to that game. Atlanta, going into that game, I think they're going to be used to, their momentum's going to be down a little bit. They're playing a couple tough defenses. They play Denver this week, so I think morale could be, kind of low there for the Atlanta Falcons. But I can certainly see that. That's going to be a very tough game, but right now I have that as a win. Then we play at Seattle. We'll talk that off as a loss. I mean, playing anytime you have to go in Seattle, it's going to be a very tough game to win. Russell Wilson's playing very good. Their defense is as good as always. Offensive line is a little bit questionable, so this is going to be another matchup of a good, great defensive line going up against a weak Seattle offensive line. And you saw in that game that they barely beat the Miami Dolphins. What a good defensive line can really do to Russell Wilson and that offense. So this is going to be a close game, but because it's an away game in Seattle with a rookie quarterback, we'll say that's a loss. And they play the Green Bay Packers. And I was going to make this win. Let's be honest. The Packers, they have not looked that dominant. They're still debatably the best team in the NFC. But outside of that victory over the Detroit Lions, where the Lions almost came back to tie that game and force it to overtime, Green Bay has not been, the Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson air raid offense. You're not stopping them. You got to try to keep up offense that we've seen in the past. But we'll say this is a loss just because Aaron Rodgers is the deciding factor. He's the best player on the field in this game, even though I like my boy Fletcher Cox. But I think it's going to be a close one. Then we go to Cincinnati, and we'll throw up a loss there. 3 losing streak, which, I don't know if that can happen. I think, again, the biggest thing, what makes Philly so hard to predict is they don't turn the ball over. They haven't turned the ball over through 3 games, and they continue not to turn the ball over. All these games against tough defenses become suddenly winnable. But we'll say it's loss at Cincinnati. The Eagles will struggle on the road trying to stop A.J. Green. I think, the offensive attack there is good. They got, Giovanni Bernard, and historically speaking, Eagles struggle against receiving backs. So we'll give that a loss. So that's 3 losses in a row. Then we get to play Washington at home, get back in the win column. I think the Redskins and Cousins get shook at Lincoln Financial Field. I think the Redskins are, I think they're in turmoil. Like I said, when I talked about the first game in Washington, I thought they were going to be great this year, personally, and they are not that. I think Kirk Cousins is done. He's one and done. He's not going to get much more than the $20 million he got this year. I don't think they'll extend him. But that's a win there at Washington. Then we go to at Baltimore, who are a surprise team. They're 3-1 right now, but that's a win. I think the Ravens losing a close one. Their defense is back to where it's been. Last couple of years they've been a little bit shaky on defense ever since they won the Super Bowl, but they're slowly starting to get back up there again. So it will be a close game, but I don't think Ravens have anything on offense to really struggle or worry the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's why I see the difference. I think 2 great defenses, but the Eagles have the better offense. Then we play the New York Giants at home. Win. It's the Giants. And then to finish out the year, we have the Dallas Cowboys. And I just have a gut feeling this is going to be a loss. I think the Eagles will have the playoffs locked up here at 9-6 in a weak division again. And I think they may decide to rest Carson Wentz. And Tony Romo will be playing for his pride. They'll be trying to force the ball to Ezekiel Elliott to try to somehow overcome the Offensive Rookie of the Year odds he's going to be faced because the beast, Carson Wentz, is the front runner for that. I just have a feeling Dallas Cowboys lose this. Put it this way, and I've also played in Madden. The first year, I've lost that Week 17 game against Dallas both times. So I don't know if Madden is giving me a sign there or not. But we'll throw up a loss there. So that is 10-5. Eagles win the NFC East and go into the playoffs. They'll probably have to play in the wild card round, but potentially have a shout out at getting a bye. But I think that'd probably be 10-5. That's probably wild card. Final stats for Carson Wentz. Here's another bold prediction. 3,900 yards. So still, Eagles don't have a quarterback that has broken 4,000 yards. Hopefully he can do that at least. 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and he wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. He also had 200 yards on the ground and 2 rushing touchdowns. So 26 total touchdowns and 6 interceptions. That's, that puts him as one of the better rookie quarterbacks of all time. I think, Russell Wilson, Andrew Luck, Cam Newton, and Peyton Manning are the 4 off the top of my head that I can say have, convincingly better rookie seasons. But the way Carson Wentz is performing right now, man, he is looking every bit the part of a franchise quarterback. So there you go. There's dumbing down the Wentz wagon quite a bit there. Those are not, oh my God, those are you're so biased. Get off his dick. Those aren't stats that he gets. Those are definitely reasonable stats because what we know about Carson Wentz is that he's not going to turn the ball over. I think he's going to be incredibly difficult for defensive coordinators to read and to guess his tendencies. I think he's always going to be changing it up, so it's going to be even difficult for them to, pick him off and force interceptions. And he seems like he's going to have sure hands, two-handed monster, according to John Gruden, to get, any fumbles or anything like that. Pro Bowlers for award winners and stuff. I think Fletcher Cox makes All Pro and Pro Bowl, and then the rest of the Pro Bowlers will be Brandon Graham, Malcolm Jenkins, Jason Peters will make it off name value alone, Rodney McLeod, and Darren Sproles. So that's what I have for the rest of the season. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys have for the Eagles and their remaining schedule for 2016. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out.